Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Bryan Ardis, and this is the Dr. Ardis Show. I'm very excited to spend some time with you today. Thank you for joining us. And I'm excited to actually share with you a message of something I've had a great and deep appreciation for my entire life, actually. Many, many things, great things, sad things, awful things have happened in my life, like I'm sure it has happened for you. I don't think anybody on this earth has had every day of bliss, never a moment of upset, sadness, loss, grief. Many of you know my journey, having lost a father-in-law in the hospital. It's over time I have actually been able to voice the gratefulness I have for that experience, but it was very difficult at first. So I'm very excited about a topic, though, because I think it is an overlooming theme about why it is I'm able to experience the life that I have. And this is something that I didn't come across myself. Someone actually brought it to me and told me. Uh, this is a actual religious leader had come to me and said, "I've never met anybody who shows more gratitude than you." Speaking to me, and years ago, they told me, they said, of all the people I've met in my life, no one talks about how grateful they are for their children, their lives, their properties, their assets, their job, more than you. It just seethes out of you. And I don't know how to be any different, but I am actually very grateful when I say it to all of you who are even watching. I'm grateful for you spending time with me, putting any trust in me and my messaging and our research. I am very grateful for the life I have. In fact, I constantly tell people life is awesome, but I have been down in the dumps emotionally. I have been lost emotionally and spiritually at times. I have been scared financially at times in my life. And I think all of us have experienced those kind of things, but I am actually grateful for all of the experiences of my life. So I'm really, really excited to share with you this very special message. So this is all about the law of gratitude, which I had learned years ago was actually a universal law. And that was kind of hard to wrap my head around, that the universe itself is responding to our thoughts, our actions, our deeds. And you can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it whatever you want, but there is this law. We can call it God, you can call it the universe, which I do believe is the intelligence of the universe is driven by God. So, and created by God, overseen by God. So this is the universal law of gratitude. I'm going to show you what it means to be grateful. What's the definition of gratitude? I'm going to show you some articles highlighting ways you can show gratitude, look for gratitude in your life. Then I'm going to actually walk you through some personal stories of individuals whose entire lives changed when they started focusing on being grateful for any aspect of their lives in any given day, where it was very hard to find anything they could be grateful for because of the circumstances they found themselves in, and how their lives transformed after they started focusing on being grateful versus judgmental and cynical. So, which is what I try to do most of the time, but I'm not perfect and nobody is. All right. This is the law of gratitude. Then I'm going to show you not only these personal stories, I'm actually going to show you what medical science has confirmed in medical research studies is the power of positive thoughts and gratitude journals and actions. So this is everything that I wanted to summarize for you: the scientific, the personal, and the testimonials of those who found abundance, joy, less stress in their lives by exercising focus on gratitude. So, this is the law of gratitude. There's going to be a PowerPoint I'm going to walk you all through. This is short and sweet. It's going to be exciting, I hope, for all of you. This is a great message, I hope, at this period of time in your own personal life as you're watching this. So, as I'm grateful for you spending time with me, let's dive into the law of gratitude. This PowerPoint, if you believe this message, this information, this research I'm about to show you could help benefit someone's lives who's being stuck in depression, sadness, anxiety, fear around a medical diagnosis even, please share this with them. At the resources tab at the Dr. Ardis Show, you can download this entire PowerPoint with all the links to these articles, these research studies, and I hope you find something great in this presentation. All right, so we're going to dive into the PowerPoint here. Remember, you can download this at the Dr. Ardis Show. Go to the resources tab. but I'm going to walk you through these slides. All right, the law of gratitude. This is not the same as the law of attraction. They do kind of overlap, but that is not what this is. This is not the secret. This is the law of gratitude, universal. There's nothing you can do about it, but just love it and have respect for it and then implement it. All right, scan the QR code if you want to share your email. We can notify you about anything I'm doing, all right, which is a weekly podcast. All right, so this is from soulessence.com. This is the spiritual law called the law of gratitude. The law of gratitude is defined as this. Gratitude is giving thanks from your heart, as summarized here by soulessence.com. When you give heartfelt thanks, the energy flows from your heart and activates certain responses from other people as well as the universe. When you're totally grateful to someone for things they have done, they feel that loving energy of your thanks and feel overjoyed and loved. When you give heartfelt thanks to the universe for what you have received, the universal energy lovingly responds by giving you more. You guys know what sarcasm looks like when someone says, yeah, thanks. You know, as a police officer's writing you your speeding ticket and telling you what day you have to show up in court or what date you have to pay the fee by, and you say, thanks. That is not a heartfelt gratitude. That is not a heartfelt thanks of any kind. That's sarcasm. This is different. This is heartfelt gratitude. In fact, I hope you've learned from me. I hope you've learned from the Healing for the Ages team at healingfortheages.com and our conferences about the power of intention. I hope from the Hidden Messages in Water book we've introduced to everybody by Dr. Emoto. I hope you have learned what the power of the intention of our thoughts and our hearts are with changing physically the world we live in. Heartfelt gratitude is a key to abundance. It unlocks the great resources of the universe. And I don't want anything but abundance for all of you listening and who trust me. Gratitude builds a bridge to abundance. This is Roy T. Bennett. You see the quote over there to the right. Gratitude builds a bridge to abundance. With that said, read the next highlighted statement on the screen. Judgment and criticism are the opposite of gratitude and appreciation. They put you in a very low place. Now, for those of you who have respect for frequency and energy, Nikola Tesla says when you want to understand the universe, you have to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Those who give gratitude from a heartfelt place have a high vibrational frequency. Those who are judgmental, criticize, they have a very low frequency. And you can feel it. You can feel people's energies of those who are grateful, those who are excited, thrilled, love others. You can feel them. You feel their energy when they walk in the room. You can feel the negative ones too when they walk in the room and they're stealing all your energy from you, or they bring in that dark cloud like Eeyore. All right. Mark and Angel Hack Life. If you look at markandangel.com, this is an article they have titled 12 Little Known Laws of Gratitude That Will Change Your Life. And I'm hoping any of these touch you. The more you are in a state of gratitude, the more you will attract things to be grateful for. A couple bullet points. Be grateful for what you have and you'll end up having more. Focus on what you don't have and you'll never have enough. This is very, very true for my own life. Number 2, being happy won't always make you grateful, but being grateful will always make you happy. Oh my goodness, I love this one. It's nearly impossible to sincerely appreciate a moment and frown about it at the same time. Yeah, very true. To be happy right now doesn't mean you don't desire more. It means you're grateful for what you have and patient for what's yet to come. Gratitude, number 3, fosters true forgiveness, which is when you can sincerely say thank you for that experience. And when I just talked about my father-in-law's murder in a hospital, his death in the hospital, and being threatened and kicked out by the medical doctor and security staff at the hospital, when I just said it's taken years to actually say, I am grateful for that experience, you wouldn't even know who I am. This podcast wouldn't even exist if that never happened. So I am truly grateful for that experience, even though it really sucked for a long time. Gratitude makes sense of yesterday. Yes, it does. It brings peace to the present and creates a positive vision for tomorrow. Number 4, you never need more than you have at any given moment. This is true. In this moment, right now in your life, you have everything you need right now. right now, wherever you are, wherever you're driving, wherever you're sitting, wherever you're listening to this, right now, you have everything you need right now. That doesn't mean that's all you're going to have, but you should be grateful for everything you have right now. And what is that you have? Is it your mind? Even if you're broke? Is it your motivation and goal setting? Even if you're homeless, jobless? The bullet point reads, "It has been said that the highest form of prayer is giving thanks. Instead of praying for things, give thanks for what you already have." I've actually been in relationships where I would end those days in prayer. And I actually had my partner actually say to me, "Why do you pray so long? Why do your prayers last so long?" I'm not joking. They actually didn't like it. They also would say, "Why do you have to say why you're thankful for everything?" In my prayer, I would just, everything I could think of during that day, I would just show gratitude to God for everything that gave me while I was on my knees. And I actually had a partner who didn't like that. Actually didn't like how much gratitude I was showing. Yeah. Anyway, when life gives you every reason to be negative, think of one good reason to be positive. There's always something to be grateful for. Number 5, gratitude is all inclusive. Good days give you happiness and bad days give you wisdom. Both are essential. Because all things have contributed to your advancement, you must include all things in your gratitude. We meet no ordinary people in our lives. If you give them a chance, everyone has something important to teach you. If you've ever wondered why I did home visits as a doctor, why it is at conferences I like being in the audience and I like being out in the foyer area to greet people and talk to them. I love getting to know how anything I'm doing for you is impacting your lives or what you have learned in your life that can provide value to mine. Number 6, what you have to be grateful for in the present changes. Yeah, this is why gratitude and showing gratitude, learning how to look at things that are awesome in your life, they always change. Be grateful for all you have now because you honestly never know what will happen next. Life changes every single day and your blessings will gradually change along with it. Number 7, a grateful mind never takes things for granted. What separates privilege from entitlement is gratitude. What is the difference between someone who is spoiled and someone who is a spoiled brat? The spoiled has gratitude for what they have. The spoiled brat is entitled. As you express your gratitude, you must not forget that the highest appreciation is not to simply utter words, but to live them daily. What matters most is not what you say, but how you live. Don't just say it, show it. If you have gratitude, there better be a smile accompanying it. Gratitude doesn't come with a frown, a scowl. No. Gratitude includes giving back. In the hustle of everyday life, we hardly realize how much more we receive than give, and life cannot be rich without such gratitude. It could be your time. It doesn't have to be money. I think everybody thinks about it in terms of money. No, you can give your time, service. Yeah, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be financial. Give back. It could be your mind, education, life experience. You can share with someone else a lesson. Someone might just be lonely. Go show up for them. Number 10, the highest tribute to the people and circumstances you've lost is not grief, but gratitude. Just because something didn't last forever doesn't mean it wasn't the greatest gift imaginable. Very true. Be thankful that your paths crossed and that you got the chance to experience something wonderful. To be truly grateful, you must be truly present. Count the blessings in your life and start with the breath you're taking right now. The greatest miracle is to walk on this green earth, dwelling deeply in the present moment, appreciating it, and feeling completely alive. One of the phrases that comes to mind that I heard my entire life is never be afraid to stop and smell the roses. The greatest times of my life are when I'm with my kids and my wife and we're out in nature, hiking in mountains typically. So looking for waterfalls, looking for places that God created this earth to represent majesty, beauty, and possibility. Yeah, being in nature is my favorite place. Number 12, letting go of control multiplies the potential for gratitude. How many of you try to force everything in your life to happen for you? Yeah, well, the truth is, the harder you try, the harder it pushes back. The more you let go, and the more gratitude you show, the more it comes. Sometimes we put too much weight into trying to control every tiny aspect of our lives that we completely miss the forest for the trees. Yes, we do. Learn to let go, relax a bit, and ride the path that life takes you sometimes. Clearing yourself of needless expectations let you truly experience the unexpected. And the greatest joys in life are often the unexpected surprises and opportunities you never anticipated. Let it go. That's a song. All right, from medium.com. The power of gratitude and the law of attraction. Remember, I mentioned earlier, I don't think they're the same thing, but they are very powerful. When we practice gratitude regularly, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. And this positive outlook attracts more positive experiences into our lives. How many of us are watching television, binge watching stuff, and being programmed through commercialization, marketing to consume things that aren't yours already? So it's what you don't have. You're just constantly seeing jewelry, cars, houses, vacation homes, lake houses, blah, blah. You see all this stuff you don't have. Millions of dollars, millions of followers, blah, blah. All the crap you think you need outside of you. No, you first need to look at what you have, because you have much more than most people in the world do. And we lose that perspective. It's pretty easy why. The more we focus on what we're grateful for, the more we see the world through a lens of abundance, and the more we naturally attract abundance into our lives. This can manifest in various forms, such as better looks, better health, more money, better looking, and more. I actually don't know what Foyd means. I didn't look that up, but I think that might have been a typo. But Foyd might be a word. I'm not really sure. Combine this with the law of attraction. The law of attraction suggests that people can attract positive events, experiences, and outcomes into their lives by focusing their thoughts, emotions, and beliefs on what they want to manifest. Now, I just have to say here, this idea of manifesting, where you have a thought and what you want to create, I just want to remind all of you, any of you out there who are of a Protestant mindset, any of you who believe in God, believe in Christian principles of any kind, you believe that you were created in the image of God. God is the ultimate creator. Therefore, if he created you and he created you in his image, guess what the greatest gift he ever gave you was? His ability to create anything with your thoughts, your motivation, and your actions. So your beliefs. Read the book of Genesis in the creative periods. It all began with a word. Well, that word is only projected from a thought. So you are little creators. He gave you the ability to create whatever life you want. What do you want? Do you want misery? Do you want abundance? You get to go create it. It's the world around you that literally has shaped you into being workers instead of thinkers. Thinkers are those who create their own realities. Like attracts like, and by focusing on positive, empowering thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, one can attract more positive experiences and outcomes in their life. This can be both positive and negative experiences. Okay, I've heard this over and over and over, that like attracts like. We highlighted that here in this law of gratitude presentation. But do any of you else have a problem with that statement like I do? When you study magnetism, it's actually opposites attract each other. The negative pole of a magnet attracts the positive pole of a different magnet. In the laws of nature, it is not like attracts like. It is opposites attract. Now, what you're going to realize is as you become more positive, as you show more gratitude, your positive energy is going to become magnified. And as you've heard from others, including Dr. Ed Group, who works just alongside with me with the Healing for the Ages team, he talks about this biofield that we generate, this energy. The Chinese call it qi. That's what acupuncturists are manipulating, is the energy, vitality of the body. It can actually be expanded and it can be withdrawn. It can be minimized based on negativity. It can be enhanced with positivity. When you become more positive, guess what you're going to attract? A whole lot of energy vampires who do not know how to generate their own energy, and they're going to come steal it from you. Just be grateful for them. You don't need to have to go to bed with them, be involved with them. No, you can just recognize, if this touches you in any way, I just have to tell you, this is what constantly comes up for me every time I see the phrase like attracts like. That is not what happens in nature. It just doesn't. So anyway, But it might be true for the law of attraction, which is not what this is about. This is the law of gratitude, and that's what we're going to focus on. How to use the law of attraction in this article. Get clear on what you want. The first step is to identify what you want to manifest in your life. Believe in this possibility. Once you have clarity on what you want, believe that it is possible to manifest it into your reality. Focus on positive thoughts and feelings. That is a part of the law of gratitude. Shift your thoughts and emotions towards the positive aspects of what you want. For example, could you imagine being deathly afraid of the IRS, you personally, and you're like, you know what? I want more money. Do you know what the very next thought is? Oh my God, I'm going to pay more taxes. Okay. The positive part would be, what could I do with money? Where could I give it? What foundations could I donate to? What charities could I donate to? What could I build that could be a space of safety and abundance for other people to learn these principles? Imagine being afraid of the IRS all the time and then building wealth, but being terrified at the same time. You're going to lose it all. Okay. That's the law of attraction. Law of gratitude is just being grateful. So show gratitude for everything you have in every moment of every day. Take inspired actions. The law of attraction is not just about visualization. It's about taking aligned actions that bring you closer to your desired outcome. Let go of attachment. Letting go of attachment, which is a part of the law of gratitude, means not worrying about how, when, or where your manifestation will happen. Trust the universe to bring it to you in the best way possible. You're going to learn it's much easier than that. Just show gratitude. Surround yourself with positive energy. You're not going to be able to do that 24/7, but do focus on those who provide energy for you in a positive way. And be patient. There's some stories here I'd like to share with you that we found of incredible transformations in people's lives, physical, emotional, and vocation-wise, career-wise, when their entire life changed simply by implementing the law of gratitude. All right, so this is from janetaylor.net. How gratitude can change your life, the power of a thank you. At the age of 53, John Kralik discovered how gratitude can change your life. In his book, 365 Thank You Notes, The Year a Simple Act of Daily Gratitude Changed My Life, that is the title of his book, Kralik explains that on December 22nd, 2007, everything in his life seemed to be going wrong. All right, here we go. You ready, everybody? At that time, this was John's life in 2007. His clients were not paying their bills on time, nearly $400,000. So his law firm was losing money and losing its lease. He was going through a difficult divorce and was completely out of funds. I've gone through a divorce. He was living in a small, stuffy apartment where he often slept on the floor under the air conditioner. Yeah, I remember doing that in college. He had grown distant from his sons, 26 and 22. Nope, I haven't experienced that. He was overweight and sad. I have been sad, but not overweight. He hadn't actually, there was a period during COVID where I did get a little overweight and I just didn't like it. I was self-sabotaging. He hadn't had a vacation since 2003. Yeah, I've been there. He was working 60 hours per week all year without a break. No, I've never done that. Okay, wait. I have done that. It just didn't feel like work, all the interviews and stuff during that, but it was exhausting. He had a salary of nothing for the year as he lost $12,652. Have you guys ever suffered from not having enough income? He was worried of losing his 7-year-old daughter. Oh, that's awful. I've had moments like that. His girlfriend had just broken up with him. How many of you have experienced loss of a relationship of any kind? On New Year's Day, 2008, Kralik took a walk into the mountains. I just mentioned that's my favorite place on earth to be. This walk started a shift for him as he started to realize he had a lot of unfulfilled resolutions. And I want to stay here. If you remember in the beginning of this, there was a few bullet points from that one website talking about the 12 laws of gratitude, things that you need to implement. One of those was letting go. Take a breath, get out of nature, and then perspective will show up. During the walk, he heard a voice say, quote, "Until you learn to be grateful for the things you have, you will not receive the things you want." This was his soul speaking to him. It's his self that had been lost, been drifting. The term is truly drifting. Read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill that he wrote in like 1910. One of the greatest books I've ever read in my life. This inspired Kralik to set the intention of writing 365 thank yous in the coming year. So he's just in the mountains. His life sucks, it appears. And he's like, you know what? He gets this intuitive moment. Until you learn to be grateful for the things you have, you will not receive the things you want. So he's just like, you know what? Maybe I'll just, the whole next year, I'll write a note of thank you to someone in my life every day for a year. Kralik started his 365 thank yous early in 2008 by writing thank you notes to all of the people in his life who had given him Christmas presents. After writing thank you notes for the material gifts he received, Kralik wrote thank you notes for the less material gifts. For example, cards. By February, Kralik was starting to send thank you notes in every direction of his life. His people at work, friends, and family. He started focusing on other people's lives instead of his own. He sent thank you notes to, check this out, clients that had paid him on time. He wrote letters of thank you to the mediator of his divorce, which I have never thought to do. He wrote a thank you note to the daughter's teacher. He wrote a thank you note to the lawyers who referred cases to him. He wrote thank you notes to the friends who paid for his lunch. He wrote thank you notes to his apartment building manager for his support and help when he couldn't pay his rent. He wrote thank you to Scott, the Starbucks guy. He wrote thank you letters to his old boss who helped him purchase options, stocks, and many more other extreme thank yous. For example, to the restaurant manager at Sal Plantation, whatever that is, some restaurant. By sending these thank you notes, Kralik started noticing something. Number one, the little things in his life he was able to be thankful for. Two, something to be grateful for even in challenging situations. And he recognized three, when he was angry, he was hurting himself, not the other people. That's one thing I recognize is when I get really angry and I'd get upset. I'm a redhead. I'm ginger. If you don't know this about gingers, they can get really angry. They can hold grudges. I realize the only thing that wakes me out of them is like this. Are those other people sleeping at night? Like I am not. Wait, holy cow. I am giving them so much power over my life. I need to let this go. They're not upset. I'm the only one upset over here. Let it go. I've had to learn that. And no, I'm not perfect at it, but boy, I've gotten really good at it. Number 5, he started to become more calm in what would have previously been stressful situations. 6, he was more responsible with his decisions around money, the situations he had control on and those which he didn't. The thank you note project. At the end of the 15 months, Kralik had written 365 thank you notes. His life had changed. Kralik realized he had everything in his life that he needed. His experience of life had transformed. When bad things happened, he was no longer unraveled by them. In the end, he realized he had a great relationship with his daughter. He reconnected with his girlfriend who left him, was able to purchase a house, and he landed his dream job as a judge. The Superior Court. Wow, it's pretty amazing. This is another story of gratitude and testimonial. Evelyn's story, how gratitude changed my life. This is a very physical health issue. The Dr. Ardis Show is a health and wellness podcast primarily. So this is a blog.gratefulness.me. This story. Prior to adopting gratitude, I was going through a difficult time in my life. My relationship was the process of breaking down. A family member was battling a terminal illness, and I wasn't taking very good care of myself. Knowing that I needed to make some changes in my life, but not really sure where to start, I noticed that I was seeing the word gratitude everywhere I went. Despite my skepticism that something as simple as expressing appreciation could make a difference to my state of mind, I was curious enough to give it a try. Over the course of months, I was humbled and amazed by the impact that focusing on gratitude began to have on my life. Day by day, I felt calmer and more at peace, and my overall energy levels and enthusiasm for life started to rise. Within a couple of months, I was sleeping better. Insomnia, anybody? Exercising more. Any of you lacking the motivation to exercise? My mood felt lighter and more joyful. Depression, anxiety, anybody? I had increased focus at work. Anybody out there with dementia, brain fog? I felt less stressed and irritable. Cortisol, weight loss, anybody wanting? I was happier and more content. Who doesn't want to be happier and content? Misery does love company, by the way. You might want to ask yourself, do I enjoy misery and its company? Because I don't enjoy other miserable people. What this experience proved to me is that incorporating a gratitude practice into your life is one of the best and easiest decisions you can make for your own well-being. It can help you make more positive choices, take better care of yourself, feel empowered, and develop a positive can-do attitude toward life. One study where participants were asked to write down their gratitude items for 21 days only, they reported feeling more optimistic, less anxious, and sleeping better, both immediately and for 3 to 6 months after the study, which was only 21 days long. Another study showed that participants who kept a gratitude journal for 10 weeks reported having fewer health problems and spending more time exercising. Okay, all of y'all are going to learn something about me. I hate exercising. Okay, I don't love it. So I am personally this year, even doing this, I'm going to start talking about how grateful I am for my health that comes from exercising. I literally don't like driving to a gym. So I built a gym in my house, and a physical trainer comes here the last year to exercise myself, my kids, my wife here at my home. And I actually am fit. I actually feel very healthy, but I do not enjoy it. So I'm going to start focusing on the grateful things about exercise. I do it. I don't like it. I'm grateful for my health, though. So I'm going to see if I can change my attitude around working out. I don't enjoy it. Okay. I'm going to see if I can change how I see it, though. I mean, it's okay with the people I'm doing it with. It feels good to be with those people. And I'm grateful for those opportunities to spend time with these people in my life that are personal to me. But exercise is important. Moving your body is important. All right. Here is ultrawellnesscenter.com. How gratitude saved my life. This is the story I wanted to just share, but you saw some impacts of health. After being diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer at the young age of 30, I found myself shocked and confused. I was, quote, misprevention. Okay. I can think of thousands of people that are like this. Preaching prevention of illness and then being diagnosed with it. I actually had a guy who I used to attend their seminars for one of the most successful supplement companies in the whole world, had this really overweight fat guy who was their number one spokesperson, educating doctors all over the world. He used to stand up in front of all of us and talk about how much he loved pepperoni pizza, and he could eat a whole pepperoni pizza every day, as long as he would say, and he was morbidly obese. He would say all the time, you can eat the pepperoni pizza and eat whatever you want. As long as you have 1 to 2 servings of Brussels sprouts every day, you will never develop cancer. Not a joke. I remember the first time I listened to him, and I saw several different seminars of his because I wanted the material, not really the example of health from him. I really found it odd. This guy was the representative of this health company, preaching prevention and health, but at the same time talking about how much he loves pepperoni pizzas, which is fine. But you could tell he didn't just eat pepperoni pizza. This guy was morbidly obese. Well, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, this guy was the expert on prevention and wellness. And he would actually say, just eat Brussels sprouts, 1 to 2, 3 servings a day. He would tell his kids, even all the doctors, and you'll never develop cancer. This guy ended up a couple years later. I remember telling about this guy's going to develop cancer. You watch. He developed prostate cancer and died from it just a few years later. It was like, okay, here's misprevention. I embraced all the right habits that were supposed to keep me healthy and disease-free throughout life. I exercised, ate well, and I talked to others about wellness constantly. Of course, after the diagnosis of breast cancer, I launched into wondering what I did wrong in my prevention routine. What had I missed? But I realized maybe I didn't do anything wrong, and I began asking, what more do we need to understand about the body? I knew when I was diagnosed that I had to deal with how I was reacting to stress, because now it was a matter of survival. I realized how important it was to just let go sometimes. At that point in my life, when she was diagnosed, my reactions to stress were having a large impact on my immune system. So I began trying to understand stress and how most humans handle it. And at the same time, I happened to see an episode of Oprah suggesting the practice of gratitude journaling. It just made perfect sense to use gratitude as a way to focus on joy and therefore reduce stress. And I began trying to keep a gratitude journal for myself. At first, it was hard. I wouldn't be able to think of anything I was grateful for. Try it. I bet you many of you and many people you know who are really negative, life sucks for them. It's going to be really hard for them to talk about something they're grateful for. So have them start talking about things they're grateful for outside of themselves. It might just be a movie. All of their life sucks, but they went and saw a movie and they liked it. So they can be grateful to the producers, directors, the movie company for putting it out. They're grateful for the shoes they have, whatever, doesn't matter. Grateful for the temperature outside that day, because like me, I don't really like being hot. My genetics come from the Northern Europe areas. Denmark, Belgium, England, Ireland, Scotland. I'm not born for desert temperatures like Texas, where I live, Arizona. I don't like being hot. This body don't like it. So sometimes I just am so grateful that the temperature is in the low 70s, 60s, happiest times of my life. And I actually will tell everybody that's around me, I'm so grateful that it's cool. I love how cool it is outside. Now, these are just some of the simple things, but it's hard for a lot of people to first, in their miserable states that they find themselves in, it's very hard for them often to even name one thing they're grateful for. Okay, so for this lady who was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 30, who was, quote, misprevention, not only was this key in expanding my perspective on all the good I have in my life, but it really helped to shift my focus away from the fear I had surrounding my cancer recovery. It changed the way I live on a minute-to-minute basis for the better, giving me more joy in every moment. And after learning more about mind-body medicine, I can see why this had such a positive impact on me. Many of us choose to eat organic, exercise daily, and avoid toxins, etc. But sometimes the stress we put on ourselves to live as healthy as possible can actually create stress that does the opposite. Trust me, you can be the most organic vegan on the planet, and many of them still develop cancer and die of heart disease early. There's a great book that explains this. The Only Answer to Cancer by Dr. Caldwell, C-O-L-D, Coldwell, out of Germany. You should read his book. All he does is focus on terminal cancer patients from around the world. 85%, he says, of all cancer patients on earth, the cancers are caused not by the foods they eat, not by the environment they live in, but from one singular toxic relationship to a person that is causing the stress on their life, suppressing their immune system, and now they've developed cancer. And he promises all of his patients, if you will cut that toxic relationship out of your life, within 2 months, your cancer will reverse. And for everyone who does that, he says he has a 100% success rate. This is stress. When I mentioned earlier, the positive energy you're going to start creating as you show more gratitude in life, you're going to draw to you the opposite. Energy vampires who have no ability to create their own goodness in life, their own positive energy. So they're going to come steal it from you. They literally harvest it from you. The term misery loves company is very real. The world will try to make you miserable like them. Don't let them. All right. It all depends on your outlook. And for me, using Reiki and celebrating all I have to be grateful for changed that outlook and allowed me to heal in ways I never expected. After my own experience in beating cancer, I was excited to help others do the same, using these healing resources as part of an integrative treatment protocol. I now see the good in what was such a bad diagnosis, like my personal experience with my father-in-law. There was good that came from that, as I'm able to now help my patients heal and discover new tools for lifelong wellness. Whatever your health goals and challenges, I highly recommend incorporating a gratitude practice into your wellness routine. You'll feel less stressed and more joyful, calmer, and be able to be more easily recognize, or you will be able to more easily recognize the amazing moments that create each and every day. Here are some research studies now I want to dive into, because these are just the amazing stories of personal people beating cancer, buying a house they didn't think they could afford, transforming their job, becoming a superior court judge after almost losing his law firm. These are just examples of people whose lives are transformed by gratitude. Simply recognizing the power of gratitude and focusing on it at some point in every day. These are medical research studies that have found and published the results of positive thinking and how it improves their health. This is from Dove Press. This is the medical journal online, but the actual journal it's published in is called Psychological Resolutions and Behavioral Management. Being thankful for what you have. This is from 2023. A systemic review of evidence for the effect of gratitude on life satisfaction. So not even just health related, life satisfaction. Researchers, Armenta and colleagues, found that the sustained relative increase in life satisfaction for the gratitude intervention group was partially mediated by increases in feelings of elevation and indebtedness. Expressing gratitude predicted greater elevation throughout the study, elevation of mood, life, and view of life, and elevation predicted greater life satisfaction at the postest. The indirect effect of elevation extended to the 3-month follow-up. Every aspect of their life was elevated. Their view of life was elevated. And this increased elevation then predicted greater life satisfaction at the 3-month follow-up. Researchers Attad and Russo-Netzer found main effects of letter writing intervention, but also found that these were qualified by a 3-way interaction, such that effects were strongest among people who scored high on prioritizing positivity in those letters and prioritizing meaning measures. What this did for me did this and had this impact on me. In people who were high in both, effects of the intervention, positive writing letters, on life satisfaction were still present 3 months later. Picture the gratitude journals, writing down what you're grateful for. Picture those gratitude thank you notes that were written for 365 days. Rash and colleagues found evidence of effects of a 4-week journaling, gratitude journaling, and reflection intervention only among people who were lower in gratitude at baseline. So if those who didn't have a lot of things to be grateful for at the beginning of the study, as they started to write, within 4 weeks, they saw the biggest change in those individuals who were journaling for 4 weeks straight, who had the lowest amount of gratitude that they could declare or define in their lives. Salsasubro and colleagues in this study, participants in the gratitude condition and a savoring condition. Now they're going to define what savoring condition is, in which participants were asked to bring in a personal object associated with positive memories and to reflect on why they picked that object and the good memories and feelings associated with it. Both scored significantly higher than participants in both a control group and an optimism condition group, which consisted of participants thinking of things they hoped would happen and planning how to achieve their goals. So they had groups that were like, don't think about anything positive, then just think about things that you would like to happen and goals you would like to achieve. Then they asked a group, hey, go find an object in your life, in your home, in your bedroom, in your closet, in your whatever treasure chest. Go pull it out, something that brings positive memories and reflection to your life. They found greater results in the group that had the object that brought them memories of gratitude. Participants in the gratitude condition reported an increase of more than 7 standard deviations in life satisfaction. We're just going to stay there for a second. Regardless of what you know, the scale was that they used to measure life satisfaction. I want to ask you a question. Do you find abundant satisfaction in your everyday life? In this moment right now that you're listening to this PowerPoint and podcast, do you feel satisfied in your life? If you would like more satisfaction at all in your life, and you think that would be something of value to you that you were missing or would just like to have more of, they found 7 times standard deviation increase in however they decided to measure it in participants in the gratitude condition and savoring condition, which above in parentheses was participants were asked to bring in a personal object associated with positive memories and to reflect on why they picked it and the good memories and feelings associated with it. Now go to the bottom of the page. It is worth noting that there were also some striking changes in other variables. Scores on depression dropped from what they measured 4.11 at pretest, so before the 4-week trial. They found that the depression score 4.11 at pretest dropped to 1.11. And in case you don't even know what that means, 75% reduction in depression scores in 4 weeks of those focusing on this gratitude condition. Do you find yourself depressed? Do you know anybody depressed, dealing with depression, on antidepressant, thinking they need to go talk to a therapist? Do you know anybody in therapy of any kind? They should know this information is published. Now, in scientific reports, this is a published study coming from 2023 also, the effect of positive thinking on resilience and life satisfaction of older adults, a randomized controlled trial. The main purpose of this present study was to investigate the effect of positive thinking training on increasing resilience levels and life satisfaction in a population of Iranian older people. The results of this study showed that the positive thinking intervention significantly increased the average score of positive thinking, resilience, and life satisfaction in the intervention group 1 week and 2 months after the intervention. Similarly, Ruiz Rodriguez and their team conducted an interventional study and reported a significant relationship between social support, positive thinking, and social relationships with the degree of resilience. So, as they're measuring resilience, whatever they want to call that and term that in these positive association groups, positive thinking groups, that the word resilience goes along with the defined term degree of resilience includes social relationships, positive thinking, and social support all increased significantly. Listen PE and their team reported a significant positive correlation between resilience, those three things I just summarized, and different dimensions of health and life satisfaction. Wow. So now it extends not only from the degree of resilience in life, including positive thinking, social relationships improve, and social support improves and shows up in their lives. Not only did that happen, this resilience also includes improvements in health and life satisfaction. Do you desire any improvement in your health? Resiliency leads to life satisfaction through improving mental health and indirectly affects life satisfaction. In other words, resilience leads to a positive attitude and life satisfaction by affecting individual feelings and excitement. Most people know how excited I get with life. In conclusion, the current study findings revealed a relationship between resilience and positive thinking. Now, resilience included, remember, the term resilience and the degree of resilience being measured in these studies was social interactions and relationships, positive thinking, and then your own personal health. Positive thinking and interventions can increase older adults' resilience, which includes health and social groups, and thereby improve their quality of life. High quality of life can lead to greater life satisfaction. In the Journal of Community Health Provision, the titled article here from 2023 also, Mind Over Matter, the impact of positive thinking on health outcomes. There have been a lot of studies in recent years looking at the correlation between how you perceive and how you feel and how that affects your health. The research has shown that positive thoughts can help you feel less stressed. Individuals who are able to keep an optimistic attitude in the face of stress may be better able to deal with its negative effects on their health. Literally had, for every deposition I did with attorneys in the lawsuits against hospital during COVID-19, every attorney in the depositions would say, Dr. Ardis, how do you keep a smile and a countenance of positivity during these depositions with such ugly evilness that you are presenting? And I would tell them, isn't it amazing to you to pull back the veil of deception in these medical journals and by these regulatory bodies and government agencies and pharmaceutical industries and their bribes? To me, I found it incredible to expose the ugly side of all of it. And it was just very exciting to me. The immune system is the body's main line of defense against foreign invaders like viruses and bacteria, y'all. The production of antibodies and other immune system markers has been shown to rise in response to positive feelings in a medical research study by Segerstrom and Sefton in 2010. Your immune system goes up the more positive you are, which also correlates with what you learned by Patch Adams, by Dr. Patch Adams, and by Norman Cousins, who wrote a book, Anatomy of an Illness. They all preach the power of laughter, that laughter is the greatest medicine. Do you know anybody who's laughing while being judgmental and cynical? Like laughter? No. Laughter only comes from the belly of those who are experiencing true joy and positive feelings. And they know and have been able to prove in medical research, the happier you are, the positive thoughts that you have, the more laughter you exhume and project and create, the higher the antibody count, white blood cells in your immune system becomes more robust. Laughter truly is the best medicine. People who tend to think positively tend to have reduced rates of cardiovascular diseases like heart disease and stroke, suggesting that one more area of health that may be affected by positive thinking is heart health. And this is from a research study of two researchers, Bohm and Kubzansky, in 2012. According to Dweck in 2008, people who are more optimistic are more likely to have a growth attitude. This in turn may make them more willing to take risks and participate in activities that are advantageous to their health. Positive thinkers may also be more likely to take activities that are useful to their health and happiness because they are more confident in their own abilities to reach the objectives they have created in their mind they want to achieve, that they have set for themselves. And that is according to the research study done by Segerstrom and Sefton in 2010. The results of this study have important repercussions for policies and programs that are intended to improve health and lessen the likelihood of becoming ill. Selgum and colleagues in 2005, therapies that encourage constructive thinking may also have additional good effects on people's psychological health as well as their levels of enjoyment. In conclusion, ResearchGate.net published research study. The results of the research showed a link between optimistic outlook and participation in healthful actions. This provides support for the idea that fostering optimism can be a useful tool in the fight against chronic illness and the promotion of healthy lifestyle choices. Now, I want to stay there for a second. If you're thinking my brain works a million miles an hour, even as I read a phrase, I want you to think about this. Those who are miserable have less positive outlooks. I guarantee you they're taking less positive actions to improve their lifestyle. So an example would be, you know what, I'm sick all the time. I'm miserable. I have nothing going on for my life. I'm just going to go get a vaccine or a prescription drug. That is not a positive health outcome or effort. But a more positive outlook would like this. You know, I'm tired of being sick, being unwell. I think I'm going to buy a rebounder and start working on my lymph system, and I'm going to bounce on it for 15 minutes a day. Or I'm going to go walk 20 minutes every day, at least some point in the day. I'm going to go for a walk. Supposedly moving your booty is your duty. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to turn off Netflix at 10 p.m. and I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to not binge watch TV in my room. I'm going to move it out of my bedroom and I'm going to sleep in a room without a television. Just to see if REM sleep has an impact on my life. Instead of self-sabotage, which would be, I'm going to let someone else make decisions for my health, which would be vaccines, drugs, surgeries, you name it. Just an example. The results of this research have significant implications for programs that seek to improve mental health and well-being, as well as for those that aim to promote health and prevent disease, implementing positive thought action principles. This is the BBC Science Focus. Thinking positively can be good for your body too, not just for your brain. Our brains benefit from developing the habit of positive thinking. Researchers from Northwestern University in the States have discovered that individuals who have positive attitudes are less likely to experience memory decline as they get older. Dementia, anybody? Brain fog, anybody? Alzheimer's, anybody? Early onset Alzheimer's, anybody? Our brains benefit from developing the habit of positive thinking. Researchers from Northwestern University in the States have discovered that individuals who have positive attitudes are less likely to experience memory deficit decline as they get older. And it's not just our brains that benefit from positive thinking, but also our hearts and cardiovascular health. Another study carried out in the United States at the University of Illinois found that adults who were more optimistic were more likely to have better cardiovascular health and improved cholesterol and blood sugar levels. Diabetes and statin drugs, anybody? Positive attitude, positive thinking. Those individuals who are more positive have better heart health, improved cholesterol levels, and blood sugar levels. Whilst another study showed that having a positive attitude could reduce the risk of developing heart disease by 30%. You might want to stop putting in your brain negative stuff, being around negative people. You might want to start hanging out with some positive people or spend some time with yourself, thinking about the things you are most grateful for. The acute stress response that we experience when we have negative, fearful, or pessimistic emotions, we have naturally evolved to release stress hormones like cortisol when we feel negative emotions. And these chemicals raise our blood pressure and heart rate, causing damage if chronic and long-term. A study carried out by Yale School of Public Health found that a marker in the blood called C-reactive protein increased in response to cumulative stress. Hold on here, people. Hold on. Stop reading. Look at me. Listen to me. C-reactive protein is one of those enzymes that look in your blood to see if you've had a heart attack and to be able to tell you when you had that heart attack. Imagine that. C-reactive protein reacts to stress, the amount of C-reactive protein. The researchers concluded that positive self-perceptions of aging and longer survival were partially mediated by CRP, C-reactive protein, and therefore an inflammatory mechanism. Isn't that amazing? Positive thinking, people. It reduces CRP, which reduces inflammatory diseases in the body. This is the Mayo Clinic. Positive thinking. Stop negative self-talk to reduce stress. This is in their online journal, Stress Management. Positive thinking often starts with self-talk. Self-talk is the endless stream of unspoken thoughts that run through your head, and all of you have it. These automatic thoughts can be positive or negative. If the thoughts that run your head are mostly negative, your outlook on life is much more pessimistic. The health benefits of positive thinking per the Mayo Clinic. Health benefits that positive thinking may provide include increasing your lifespan. This is the Mayo Clinic. If you don't want to listen to the chiropractor speaking to you right now, maybe you trust the medical profession more. Here's the Mayo Clinic. Positive thinking may provide increased lifespan, lower rates of depression. Just so you know, most people who are depressed don't want to live longer. So we want to increase the lifespan of Americans. We might want to have them start thinking more positive thoughts. Lower levels of distress and pain. What? Positive thinking reduces pain? Yeah. Any of you living with pain? Anybody you know living with pain? How grateful are they for that pain? Greater resistance to illnesses. Oh, how many of you are afraid of COVID? I was never afraid of COVID, and I had positive thoughts for the majority of the time. Better cardiovascular health and reduced risk of death from cardiovascular disease and stroke. Wow. Any of you scared of dying? Any of you being told that your cardiovascular disease is inherited and there's nothing you can do about it? You have a doomsday in the near future from your heart health you inherited from your parents and grandparents. Did you know positive thinking the Mayo Clinic has published creates better cardiovascular health and reduced risk of death from cardiovascular disease and stroke? Did you know positive thinking published by Mayo Clinic creates a reduced risk of death from cancer? Oh, turning months into years. I think about Dr. Diana Wright and her book. Reduced risk of death from respiratory conditions. Any of you afraid of developing pneumonia, dying from asthma, COPD, pulmonary fibrosis, have a lung transplant in your future, have already had it? Did you know positive thinking reduces the risk of death from respiratory conditions per the Mayo Clinic? Did you know positive thinking reduces the risk of death from infections, COVID, polio, the flu, pneumonia, HIV? Did you know positive thinking reduces the risk of death from those infections? Published by the Mayo Clinic. Did you know that positive thinking may improve better coping skills during hardships and times of stress, which is obvious? All right. Scan the QR code. You'll get an email when we notify you of my next upcoming podcast, when it's being released. You can join our Artist Club membership group where I get to spend once a month answering questions of yours personally. Don't forget about our book, Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies, Restoring Your Health and Hope for Humanity. It's been very incredible and humbling to see, and I'm grateful that my book, Moving Beyond COVID-19 Lies, to this day is still listed as a bestseller on Amazon and a #1 bestseller in the vaccine category. And for almost a whole year was #1 in medical textbooks on Amazon. It is now in Audible format at Amazon and at audible.com. It's also in Spanish. You can order a Spanish printed version of the book for those of you that only speak Spanish or loved ones do. And there's also a printable order. You can order a French version now, and it is currently being translated into Polish. And we will keep doing multiple languages because this was a global lie around the world. So we're going to help everybody in their own language, I hope, be able to recognize and learn what the lies related to COVID-19 were. And I'm grateful for being a part of helping to expose those so that you can keep you and your family and your loved ones safe. All right, so this is my presentation on the universal law of gratitude. And I'd like to end with this. Today, I am truly grateful for you sticking around to the end, watching this PowerPoint and this presentation that we put together. I'm grateful for my son, Braden, who helped put together some of these research articles and build out this PowerPoint so that I can help walk you through the law of gratitude that my kids are very well aware of, that I live by and try to live by and acknowledge and honor. I'm also grateful for the Dr. Ardis Show team. I'm grateful for my leadership team. I'm grateful for my wife, Jane. I'm grateful for her dad and her mother, for the experience I had in the hospital in 2020, which was tragic, but has literally paid dividends in truth through my own mind, my own research, and provided a voice of reckoning and truth for those around the world. Thank you for sharing I'm really grateful for you sharing all of my messages, our hope, our formulas, our products with your loved ones. Those are important to you. And I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my health. I am grateful for my products. I am grateful for my family. I'm grateful for all 5 of my kids. I'm grateful for the challenges I have as a father, as a parent, as a husband. I am grateful for God. I'm grateful for the universe. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful, period, for you. And I'm grateful for this season. This season I'm recording this in is the fall of 2025. And I'm so grateful for the weather here in Texas. All right. May you be able to find those things that provide value to your life. May you find gratefulness and gratitude in those. And may you find a positive impact in your life, in your longevity, in your health, as you focus on things you are grateful for versus those things that you are critical or judgmental of. That is my prayer for you. I hope to see you next time and next week on the Dr. Ardis Show. God bless. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Visit thedrardisshow.com/follow for my official social media channels and free healing resources. Beware of fraud accounts. Neither I nor my company will ever ask you for money, crypto, or personal information through your social media or DMs. Like this video and share with a friend. And if you're not already, subscribe and follow along so you don't miss any updates from me, the only real Dr. Bryan Ardis. And remember, nature always wins.